Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Des Moines Con returns to the Iowa Events Center Hy-Vee Hall May 30th through June 1st. Des Moines Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Des Moines Con is bigger and better than ever before, with guests like Daredevil himself, Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, also from Daredevil, Full Metal Jacket, Law & Order, Saturday only. Plus, other great guests from voice actors to authors over the entire weekend. 3 days of action-packed fun at the Iowa Events Center Hy-Vee Hall. Tickets start at $60. Kids tickets are just $8 for the entire weekend. Don't wait to get your tickets. Buy your tickets and get more information at DesMoinesCon.com. And don't forget, Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo and Twin Cities Con are coming up this year too. New guests are being announced all the time. Go to NerdStreetUSA.com for more information.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies tonight with a low around 66. Thursday showers and storms with a high near 81. And Friday more rain with a high around 63. Savor the excellence at Maverick's Real Roast Beef in Roseville. Elevate your taste buds with their range of sandwiches from the savory Philly steak to tempting turkey bacon avocado. Explore crispy chicken, fish, brisket, and pulled pork options. Check out mavericksbeef.com or visit them off Lexington and Roseville.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us on this Wednesday evening. I hope your week is going well so far. And boy, it's been a busy week. I mean, it's busy is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm very grateful for everything that's going on at the moment. And there is a lot happening. But there's times too where it's just like, boy, where did all this come from? I've gone months without a lot going on, and now suddenly we have a lot of things happening, and just trying to I don't know, take it all in, perhaps. I don't know, but I'm very happy you all joined me tonight. Tonight we're going to just kind of, partially because it's been so busy, I just want to kind of relax tonight. Let's talk paranormal, and I felt like that we've been doing that really well all week. Monday we had the Paranormal Roundtable with Debbie Romero and Jeremy York, and we're just talking paranormal. We had on Char Savoy yesterday. Don't forget, her event is coming up this Saturday, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But I thought that was really cool too, because we got to talk about some of the stuff that really means a lot to us when it comes to paranormal. And sometimes, if you've listened to other episodes that I have done, especially lately, especially after that mishap with the Eau Claire Paracon, it's easy to kind of get down on a lot of stuff because it's you get very frustrated. You don't know why certain things happen to you. And I've also talked about a lot about how the paranormal community can be a real problem, at least for me. And I don't go after people or anything, but it's just there's a lot of egos, there's a lot of competition, and I just feel like sometimes, and I was just having this conversation tonight, sometimes I think we forget what we're in this for. I think we forget that at the end of the day, and I could be wrong. I mean, I'm more than willing to accept I could be wrong on this, but I believe what we're here for when we're talking paranormal is that we all have this fascination, experience, connection to things that are not easily explainable by what we consider maybe norms in society. Paranormal does not just mean ghosts. Paranormal means all of the above. It means aliens. It means cryptozoology. It means spirits. It means metaphysical. It means a lot of things. And more in this week's conversations I've had have really been refreshing for me, and a couple that I've had offline, not on the show as well, that they've been really refreshing, because sometimes I think we all need to be reminded why we're into something, that we are so why we're into something we're so into, and then we kind of fall out of love with it a little bit. I'm not saying that I just didn't want anything more to do with anything paranormal, but what I'm talking about here is the fact that I want to remind myself what it is I love about this. So I'm not just thinking about seeing all over the place people, trying to, showboat what they're doing. And that's just something that I find that I need to remind myself of. I mean, if that makes any sense. And so these conversations this week, for me personally, have been good. I know they've been good for Shar. Hopefully she doesn't mind me saying that, because, we just haven't had a chance to connect like we have in the past, because we've just been so busy. And be able to reconnect with Jeremy on Monday, and always having Debbie Romero on is always a treat, and get their perspectives on paranormal, how it works, what it works for them, what it means to them. This is all important stuff, because it's different for all of us. None of us have the same journey for the paranormal. Some of us, there's going to be a lot of listeners out there right now. Your journey is simply wanting just to hear about it, maybe even hearing about scary stories, hearing about people's experiences. And there's nothing wrong with that. No one has to be an active participant. Some people might like to have a little bit of the unknown happen to them, where they're just like, something happened in the house. I don't know what it is, but I liked it. It's as simple as that. So I really, I just really felt like this week has been a refresher for me personally. And it's something that I've needed, and I'm very, I'd like to just make sure that I kind of keep that going, because as the busier we get, and I get very busy now, I want to be able to have some of these experiences again, like the ones that Shar and I talked about last night. And we do, if we do events, and events are great, and we're going to actually talk about some events here in a bit. Those are really good, and there's some great possibilities to get some interaction. The thing is sometimes you also get to do that when you're not on the grid, you're not doing a big event or whatnot. There's good to both of them, and that's the thing. That's the thing that you would want to kind of keep in mind. Now, what we're going to do tonight, what I'd like to do tonight, and I see some questions showing up in the comments. I kind of want to keep this as a paranormal chat. What's on your mind? What do you think? And, if you ask questions in the comments and I answer them, it doesn't mean that you're going to be like, why am I listening then? It doesn't mean I know what I'm talking about necessarily. And what I mean by that is that there are no experts in the paranormal. And that's, the thing that also bothers me, that you see people who act like that they know everything about it. I haven't experienced everything in the paranormal. And what I mean by that is, like, I can tell you what I've experienced with ghosts, spirits, cryptozoology, aliens, but that's just from my point of view. So talking further into it, I can just give you my opinion, and doesn't mean that those who are listening, who are in the chat, they don't have their own opinion that might be aligned with mine, or might be something very separate. That's what paranormal, discussion should be. all sorts of great ideas coming together, and just us trying to see what if we're all connected, if we're on the same page length, and I've talked to people, and honestly they'll tell me something, and we'll have our opinions on stuff, and they'll be vastly different. And part of me would be I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I'll be like, where did you get that from? But that's the point, right? That we all have our own opinion on it, and we want to make sure that we should respect everyone's opinion. That, in my opinion, and I know I'm saying the word opinion maybe too much, that's what I want to do. Before we get too far into it, I do want to just also make sure that we talk about this a little bit, because it's Minnesota, and something that is really frustrating and sad is more than 140 buildings have been destroyed, and 35,000 acres of forest burned by a trio of wildfires that continue to rage in northern Minnesota. The Brimson area camp house fire, which ignited Sunday, now spans roughly 15,000 acres after spreading rapidly to the north and northeast Monday, while the nearby Jenkins Creek fire is even bigger, now estimated at 20,500 acres. The three main fires being tracked. I'm getting my information from bringmethenews.com. Their last update was 2 hours ago, so I am under the impression that nothing has been contained yet in these fires. And, I really hope that our friends up north are safe, that they're able to get out, to be able to follow all of the warnings and everything else that's coming out there. It's just, these are horrible situations. And we talked about this last week. We talked about it, though, in terms of the Twin Cities. I originally said that, the my area is under like a fire warning. Honestly, looking at it, a lot of the country was under a fire warning, and we had to be, very careful about what we burned. And like I said, I'm not grilling or anything like that. And this is one of those things that happen, that it just ignites for whatever reason. And, ultimately, and people up north, they don't want to hear this at this time, because who wants to hear that, wildfires are natural purging of the earth. In some ways they're a necessity, but no one's going to want to hear that. I understand that, especially, and that's the thing. We want to build where we want to build. We want to live where we want to live. And so my heart goes out to everybody. I hope everyone stays safe. There is apparently another string of possible severe weather coming through tomorrow. And I know that I've already been reading online. People are kind of like, oh, well, like last time. It's because last time there was this amazing threat. I've never seen anything like it. It was 2 weeks ago or something, right? That pretty much the Twin Cities was targeted for obliteration by tornadoes. I've never seen it talked about like this before, the weather. And and nothing happened. Nothing happened in our area. Around the Twin Cities, southern and northern Minnesota both had tornado touchdowns and other severe weather, but we had nothing. And so I've seen people around the area here on different things I'm reading saying that, well, like last time, I don't think we're going to have to worry about too terrible, a whole lot. And it's tough because you really should pay attention. What's weird about last time is that businesses and like classes and stuff that was happening indoors, those were being canceled, and stores closed and stuff like that, which honestly is it's really really odd. It's just such a strange thing to do that. It's like that's something that you do when you get a that's what happens when you get into like I don't know, a snowstorm or something like that. And I just I never seen it for like severe weather, like tornadoes and severe thunderstorms. All I'm going to ask folks is just keep your eyes open, right? I don't think no one needs to close any stores or anything, but we all know how to look at a radar. We all know that red and then like a purple sort of color on radar means that things are going to be pretty heavy. Just kind of keep your eyes open, and we're all smart enough to kind of know what makes sense and not make sense going out or whatnot. I don't think there was ever a need to close down businesses from that threat. And unfortunately, what stuff like that does, and we end up with getting nothing here, all that really does is it makes people not want to listen to any of the warnings or any of the forecasts from the National Weather Service. And that's a shame, because we should be, and they are, I believe that they're more right about stuff than they are wrong. It's just on something like this, it just didn't really pan out. So keep your eyes open, folks. It could be a severe situation tomorrow. It's not, but yeah, just keep your eyes on the weather and all the National Weather Service, your local news stations, whatever, and just make sure that you're safe. That's all there is that needs to be done with that. And hopefully more wildfires won't start in the state. It's been really hot. It's going to cool off a little bit tomorrow, but I mean, we're still going to be in the 80s if I'm not mistaken. I mean, when I was driving around today, I was in downtown St. Paul, which I don't get to very often. And it was very pleasant down there. But it was 90 something today. It was a very hot day. So I don't know. Once again, put your questions in the comments. I also want to talk about books tonight. I mentioned that yesterday. I'm just curious because I have a lot of paranormal books. I read a lot of paranormal books. I am curious, are you reading anything right now? Are you reading it? And why do you read paranormal books? Is it to learn something new? Obviously we all read books to learn something new, but is it something to learn something new when it comes to paranormal investigation, folklore, different types of spirits, or you just want to read a good story about people's experiences, or read about aliens or whatever? What is it that you're reading the books for? And also, I'm curious to know, do you think that there is a book that needs to be written that hasn't been written yet about something to do with the paranormal, but it's a subject that has really been lacking as far as being put out as a book? I'm curious to know your thoughts on that. Reading these books, and we got some great publishers that put out books, but there's also great independent publishers that are putting out some truly wonderful paranormal books. And I hope that you're all taking the opportunity to read those. Also, once again, to plug myself, imagine that, right? Go to GhostBoxRadio.com. Go to GhostBox Book Club. It's on the top menu of the site. And there you have all the books that, since we started back in July of 2023, all the books that we had authors on for. There is a lot of them there. And so if you're looking I'm looking for something to read, a new book about the paranormal, or, about that genre, go to my site, check it out. You can see all the authors. It's an Amazon affiliated link, so it helps me out, and that helps. That's great if you'd help me out. But it's also just a really good look, a nice slice of the type of books that are available. So please consider doing so. What I want to do right now, though, is I want to take my first break. When we come back, let's get to some questions in the comments. I want to talk more about books. Anything else on your mind? It's going to be great. Stick around. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. It's that time of year again where the weather is getting nice and it's time to get out of the house for some family fun. Lilliput is the perfect place and is open for the season. Be the first to take on their newest escape room, The Bunker. It's intense, exciting, and totally unforgettable. Prefer spooky? Try the Haunted Mansion. When you're done escaping, hit the mini golf course, go-karts, and jump pads. Lilliput is perfect for parties and group events too. Visit lilliput.net for hours and start your spring adventures at Lilliput.
Des Moines Con returns to the Iowa Events Center Hy-Vee Hall May 30th through June 1st. Des Moines Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Des Moines Con is bigger and better than ever before with guests like Daredevil himself, Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, also from Daredevil, Full Metal Jacket, Law & Order, Saturday Only, plus other great guests from voice actors to authors over the entire weekend. 3 days of action-packed fun at the Iowa Events Center Hy-Vee Hall. Tickets start at $60. Kids tickets are just $8 for the entire weekend. Don't wait to get your tickets. Buy your tickets and get more information at DesMoinesCon.com. And don't forget, Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo and Twin Cities Con are coming up this year too. New guests are being announced all the time. Go to NerdStreetUSA.com for more information.
All right, so I have a confession to make. I went to Mavericks today. It was good. I was in St. Paul. I'm working on a big project out there, and afterwards, we worked hard today, and I'm like, you know what? It's kind of on my way back home, so I went over to Mavericks, and I got myself a roast beef sandwich, and they do this amazing like cheese sauce. It's like kind of a nacho cheese sauce that they make from scratch every day. And I love to dunk my fries in it. So, you know, you can imagine that was a couple calories, but well worth it. And I thought what was really fun about that was that went in there, you know, I'm devouring my food. It's not pretty. And two people walk in, and they both, one right after the other, both of them had never been to Mavericks before, and so it was their first time. And the one guy who got his roast beef sandwich, he just like took like a couple bites, and he just was like, he's just like, I'm coming back. This is my first time, but not my last. So yeah, it was great. And I'm not gonna say that these people are that these are like from listening to AM 950 or anything, but they certainly it certainly have to do that because it's great. Now, Damien says, I have to be honest, I have to mute your adverts. I can't take listening to food adverts. Sounds amazing, but 4:30 a.m. here, kitchen is closed. You know what? I had to figure out for myself the Travel Channel before it was nothing but paranormal. And Damien's in the UK. That's why he's 4:30 over there. Back in the Travel Channel days, before it was all paranormal, y'all remember Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations. I love watching food shows, and his show I think would air 8 or 9 p.m. Central Standard Time Mondays, and I would watch that. And it got to that point too, Damien, 100%, that I could not watch it because I would like there would be episodes, because he's a New Yorker. He would have get hot dogs and stuff, and I'd be like in my home, and I'd be like, I have hot dogs here, so it's 11 o'clock, I'm making hot dogs. Now, unfortunately, what's also unfortunate for me now doing the show and getting done at 11, around 11:20 or so, when I post the podcast, I'm hungry. I have 2 pieces of pizza that are cold that I'm going to eat after that. That is the worst thing you could do, and I'm doing it. And then then I have this. Okay, for those who are listening on the radio, I have this big old thing of Pepsi from Quick Trip, and I was laughing at myself today, and I do that often. I was laughing at myself today because I remember when I started doing this show nightly. I can remember the date. It was July 10th, 2023. I had been doing the show on AM 950 for 3 years before that, and I knew Quick Trip, which is on blocks, not very many blocks from my home. I knew that this will be a problem, me passing in front of it every night, because back then I was doing the show from the station, and I just I had to tell myself, only on special occasions do I need to stop at Quick Trip to get maybe a snack once in a great while, because I have great control. I am going to I'm not going to be tempted by the fact that they have fresh pizza, and they have chicken and all that stuff. I'm and chocolate bars and all that. And I'm going to be fine. The first night doing the show, I had Moon Girl on, and we finish up, and I do all my stuff, and I run the show completely by myself. I'm running the board. I'm taking questions. I'm hosting it, if you can call it that, and doing all this stuff. And I get done with my very first show, doing it completely on my own. There is not another soul in the station, and I'm just I deserve a treat tonight. I did really well. I'm good for me, and I'm going to stop at Quick Trip, but only tonight, because I can control this. So I go to Quick Trip, and I get something, and then Tuesday I went to Quick Trip, Wednesday, Thursday, and for months, every night I'd stop at Quick Trip and get something. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is out of control, even though I thought I had control. So then the other way around, and now I work at the station during the day, and then I come home at night and I do the show. And I'm like, well, I don't feel the need to go to the Quick Trip anymore. I have this under control. And then, it's but I do need gas. So, and that's something I need. So I'll go there. Well, while I'm here, I might as well get some Pringles. I feel like Pringles right now. Oh, and I need one of these too, because this will last me the day. I also drink water. Don't worry about me. And I just was and now every day I stop at Quick Trip. They should be paying me to say this, quite frankly. So yeah, that's one of the things there. Now, Damien also says pizza is good anytime, and it's healthy. It contains tomatoes, which is one of my 5 a day to keep healthy. Well, I do love tomatoes. I doubt we can consider frozen pizza as necessarily a healthy choice, but I like the cut of your jib, so we're gonna keep that. I'm gonna follow suit with that as well. Now, a couple things I want to talk about. Talking about getting the mojo back for doing paranormal stuff. A lot of people have been asking me as I talk about it. I mention the term CE5 experiment, right? And CE5, we talked about this a lot. CE5 experiment is simply this. It is close encounters of the fifth kind, close encounters of the third kind was seeing aliens and meeting them. And the fourth is taking it up a notch. Fifth is actually calling them to you. And, you all might be like, are you kidding? And no, I mean, we've talked about this before. I've explained my experiences with stuff that I think that was very, very strong that happened to me. And I wasn't alone during this. And so there's something coming up here in October that, I'm not doing a lot of events and stuff, but this is put on by friends, people I really like. And it's called the Rock Island Roadhouse Esoteric Expo. And that's at Rock Island, Illinois. That's the event itself, which is a full day of panels, of vendors. You're going to absolutely have your paranormal fix in this thing. I mean, you really want to check this out. And you're like, well, Rock Island, Illinois, that's in Illinois. Most of us are in Minnesota. That's why we're telling you now, October 4th, plan, especially when we're getting in October, that's Halloween month. You want to plan for that, right? So go to Rock Island Roadhouse Esoteric Expo. We're going to be talking about it. The event itself is on October 4th. Now, October 3rd, I'm going to be taking part in something that's very special. And, we've talked about many times, Denise and Ernie Pack. We've talked about Greg Yost, also known as Squatchman. We've had Todd Askew on and his wife Leanne, who are Black Wolf Paranormal. What we're going to do for part of Rock Island Roadhouse, and this is going to be on October 3rd, the night before, is something called Spirits, Squatches, and Stories Around the Campfire. And what we're going to do with this, and it's a ticketed event, this is going to be where we talked about, like Shar and I talked about last night, being in a forest and trying to bring forth, a Bigfoot. I am going to be leading a number of sessions where we're going to do what's a CE5. These are going to be separate from each other. We're going to be doing the CE5 experiment. We're going to see if we can bring forth any aliens. Now, you might be like, well, you're going to be trying for a Sasquatch and an alien. And if you listen to the show last night, we talked about it with Shar. In one situation, one time going to a forest in Minnesota here, we had stuff that we attributed to both Bigfoot and alien. And I talked about that shadow across the tree that to me was alien. And she had seen shadows earlier and sounds that we attribute to Bigfoot. So it's not impossible. And, you got to check this out. Here's the thing about this experiment that we're doing. This is going to happen actually at the Black River State Forest. That's in Rock Island. And it's Blackhawks of a forest in Rock Island, Illinois. This place is huge. It's beautiful. This is where we can have a lot of fun. Let's just be very honest about it. This is where we can have some really interesting experiments. And Candy, who I put up her comment just now, she is organizing this event. And the thing about doing this, and we're going to be very clear about it, it's a ticketed event. And to do so, you need to, let me pull up the image again here so I can read where you can get your tickets from. You can tickets available on extremeticketing.com. That's extremeticketing.com. I'll put it in comments. What we're going to ask people, though, to do, and this is going to be I think this is going to be a hard one for people to fully understand, is this, that events like this, you go to a paranormal investigation, you take lots of pictures, right? And and that's part of the experiment or part of the investigation. When we're trying to reach out to a forest person, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever you'd like to call them, and we're doing it the way that we believe, which is the interdimensional route. When we're trying to do the same with alien, we have seen this before, where if you have cameras set up, if you have anything that they don't like, they're not going to show up. And you're kind of be like, Greg, what do you mean that they know what you have? This is where we got to think in a different, just a different way about how aliens and Sasquatch, what they know, how they know us, how they can tell whether we are worthy of interaction with them or if we're safe. And cameras are not safe for them. And you're going to be like, well, what's the point of that then? The point is to experience. That's really what it comes down to live in the moment and experience. We talked about that yesterday as well. You just live in the moment and you enjoy it. You're like, well, how will I remember what happened? Well, you got this thing called the brain, and you can remember it that way. And this is just a great way to experience. You're going to be with a lot of other people, so it's not going to be like, oh, just one or two people. I just think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'd love to have you all come out to that. And don't just come out for the CE5 experiments, because I'm going to be perfectly honest, there might be some more coming up here, but the thing is about CE5 experiments in different locations and going over to Black Hawk Forest and doing this, there's so many things that will basically trigger what happens based on the location itself. That's the exciting part of it. And the fact that I think we can do this, and I think we can actually get some sort of response, communication. I do it through Spirit Box. I think this is going to be a really special night. And don't come just for that or come for the Sasquatch one. Come for the event for October 4th as well, because there's people who are working really hard to create not just a Paracon where you go and you see celebrities. And if that's what you like to do, that is absolutely totally fair. We all love our own thing. But what we're hoping to do with the Rock Island Esoteric Expo is this. When you leave, you have gained knowledge about something that you didn't know before, something that you're interested in, and that the people there, if they sell you something, they're going to tell you how to use it, or they're going to recommend something that you will actually want opposed to maybe what you thought you wanted. They're going to give you some really great insight into a lot of paranormal topics, and we're going to be covering a lot of different things. And this is a really, they're bringing in mediums from the East Coast. They're bringing in people who do this all around the country. And don't forget that the Warrens Museum is traveling right now, and it's going to be in Rock Island for the event. And that means that you're going to also have a chance to see all of these amazing, legendary things from the museum, from the Warrens Museum, and that includes Annabelle. So you really want to give this a thought, and what I like about this is just even take that part about Annabelle. Up until about a few months ago, the only way to go and see Annabelle, and honestly, I wanted to see her, and I saw her in Connecticut, but that's how you had to go. You had to go to Connecticut to see these pieces. Now they're bringing them to the center of the country. What a great opportunity. And there's no guarantee that they're going to move them any further or anything else. This is a really cool opportunity. Go to, please, on Facebook, go to Rock Island Roadhouse Esoteric Expo. Find that on Facebook. You can see a lot more information about it. You can like the page. Liking the page basically is going to keep you informed of everything that is going on for the convention. And we'll be talking about it more as we get closer to it. We do have a lot of events this year, and I'm trying. There's that fine line of getting, not to just turn this into a nightly commercial, but also to talk about why this stuff is really cool, really important, and that is not just always an infomercial. It's that fine line for sure. Damien says, I only seen Annabelle on a screen. Why would you not want to see her in person? Yeah, I mean, it's very cool. I've seen people who have had reaction to her. The dinosaur toy that was based in the third Conjuring film. I've seen those. I mean, it's really cool. And there's other stuff that I've heard about, all of them, that it was said to me in just conversation, so I'm not going to share it, but it's cool. Okay, it's really cool, and you want to do that. So we'll be talking more about that as well. Why don't we go ahead and do this? Let's take our next break. When we come back, let's get to some of the book conversation. There's some other questions in there as well. That's the problem. When it's just me talking tonight, sometimes I get way off base, and I talk about something I meant to talk about 2 minutes. We talk about it for 16. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. It's that time of year again where the weather is getting nice and it's time to get out of the house for some family fun. Lily Putt is the perfect place and is open for the season. Be the first to take on their newest escape room, The Bunker. It's intense, exciting, and totally unforgettable. Prefer spooky? Try the Haunted Mansion. When you're done escaping, hit the mini golf course, go-karts, and jump pads. Lily Putt is perfect for parties and group events too. Visit lilyputt.net for hours and start your spring adventures at Lily Putt.
Des Moines Con returns to the Iowa Events Center Hy-Vee Hall May 30th through June 1st. Des Moines Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Des Moines Con is bigger and better than ever before, with guests like Daredevil himself, Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, also from Daredevil, Full Metal Jacket, Law & Order, Saturday Only. Plus, other great guests from voice actors to authors over the entire weekend. 3 days of action-packed fun at the Iowa Events Center Hy-Vee Hall. Tickets start at $60. Kids tickets are just $8 for the entire weekend. Don't wait to get your tickets. Buy your tickets and get more information at DesMoinesCon.com. And don't forget, Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo and Twin Cities Con are coming up this year too. New guests are being announced all the time. Go to NerdStreetUSA.com for more information.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We are doing a replay tomorrow and it's a good one. And I hope that you give it a listen. It's we're going to have author Craig Farley on, and the book is called Why There's Doubt with the Moon Landing. And it was a very interesting conversation. We got really nowhere, and I don't mean it was not worth listening to, but there's so much that he put into the book that I mean, we just barely got started, and hopefully we'll get him back at some point. But once again, to get the book, go to ghostboxradio.com, go to Ghostbox Book Club. You scroll down, find it. There's an Amazon affiliated link. Please pick it up. It's a very interesting book. I enjoyed reading that quite a bit. Friday is Casual Friday, but I want to give you a little preview, because first of all, Wednesday, the 21st, we see the return of Psychic Medium Refined Divine with one question readings. It's been a while, and we all get busy. There's a lot of stuff going on. So we're very happy that she's going to come back on and do that. I've missed her and Dave very much, and I'm really excited that they're going to be back on the 21st. That's going to be good. But Monday, I have somebody I'm going to bring on who I've known him for years, used to work for the government, and he is going to talk about remote viewing to military bases on Mars. That's what we're going to be talking about Monday. That is going to be a very interesting program. I have known him for years before I knew any of this. So this is going to be a very interesting program, and I am looking forward to it. I'm very grateful that he is talking with me about it and talking with all of us. So this is going to be good. I think this is going to be the first of a number of times we're going to have him on the program, because what he has done, what he's been able to do, there's so much to it. So please make sure, keep listening. Quite frankly, keep listening to my show. And if you're missing any episodes, remember they're available on am950radio.com, and they're also available on Spotify. Also my Patreon, if you want to start as low as $3 a month on that, greatly appreciate it. So we are talking, I'm talking a little bit about books, and let's see if I understood this correctly. Let me find, if I can find Damien's post. He said, my two most recent books are Supernatural Scotland by Eileen Dunlop and Haunted Scotland by Ryan O'Neill. I like to hear over experiences, and also reading helps keep brain in shape while I relax. I read before I start on an investigation, helps open the mind and block out distractions from normal life. I mean, in a great world, I'd love to read before going to bed. Back when I used to work downtown Minneapolis at the advertising agency, I'd take the bus in from Maple Grove, and that was my reading time, and going home would be my reading time. So I was going through stuff rapidly. Now it's not quite the same, and I'd really like to find a way to get back onto a good reading schedule, because I try to read as much as possible when I have guests on talking about their books and stuff. So it's really really something. And I was looking on Amazon, and I picked up, I went over and I just, in my orders, I just typed Kindle, and I have it can't be really that many, is there? I'm just click. I have 7 pages of books that I have ordered, that I can go through and I can see everything that I ordered, books from Amazon. And obviously they're not all paranormal. But and some of them I can see, like the missing JFK assassination film, the mystery surrounding the Orville Nix home movie of November 22nd, 1963. There's some, I'm looking through it. There's some really good books here. And I remember my very first paranormal book that I read, before I was doing the show, I got The Demonologist, which is the extraordinary career of Ed and Lorraine Warren. And when I read it, I thought to myself that, okay, this is really cool. And I just was reading it, and then I realized because I wanted to get the author on the show, Gerald Brittle, and I realized that the book was written and published originally in 1980. So it's been a very long time since that book was written. It's a really good book. I really enjoyed it. It gives a great insight into what it was like for them still in their heyday, Ed and Lorraine Warren, and talks about stuff like Raggedy Ann. Well, that's not what we call her. We call her Annabelle. They talk about that. They talk about other cases. They talk about the 4 stages of demonic possession. It's always been something that I've been super interested in. I've always wanted to be a demonologist, and I've gone very far into figuring out like what to do and how to do it. What stops me every single time is, are you ready for your lifestyle to completely change, and you having to be a strong person and be careful about what happens to your loved ones when you become a demonologist. And I don't necessarily mean that it's always demons, because we believe that there's only 5% of cases that are actually demonic, but that's just it though. It's like, what kind of risks are you willing to take? And if you're strong and you're making demons angry, what are they going to do? They're going to go after your loved ones. They're going to, if you're too strong, they're bouncing off you, they're going to go to the next person. You're going to put them into any kind of jeopardy. And that really is the reason I've never really pursued it any further. I also feel like that there's a number of people who, I always think, if you're a demonologist, you don't advertise it. That's just my opinion. Doesn't mean that I'm right, but that's just how I see it. Because, you get all these people who are like saying that they're demonologists. You get these people who went into a house where a light turned on that they think is a demon, and they're just like, yep, I took care of that. I'm a demonologist. And there's so few people, I think, that actually understand what it means to be a demonologist, and the education that needs to go into it. And I think that Christina Christina Rake, we've had her on the program before, and she has taken a back seat to it because she has children. She wants to make sure everyone is safe. But what I love about what she does is that she goes into the literary history of what demonic is. And I find that she, because I think you can't just be like looking at any sort of demonology on its surface level. You have to be aware of where it came from, what stems from it, what is history. And I don't mean within the last couple hundred years. I mean, we're going back thousands of years. We're going back very far, and before, the birth of Jesus. We're going back to what it means for a lot, what it was, what was it originally, and how does it come to be where it is present day, so that we can understand it better. I've had a number of people on the show, and their approach to what they believe is demon, and I say it that way because I just don't know. And this isn't I'm not trying to out anyone as being fake. I don't think anyone's being fake. But, you have people who call themselves demon hunters. You have people who call themselves demonologists, and they've never done any sort of training. These are things that you got to be careful about. You got people who think that, and I understand this to a certain degree, think that to be a demonologist, you need to be a badass. And you do have to be strong. And a number of people tell you that it's like warfare. And I understand that too. But there I think there's a point that being more quiet about it than vocal about it goes a long way. If I ever were to become that, I wouldn't be like brandishing it and trying to make money off of it. And people are. There are people who are doing that, and I don't think that's right. And people will be like, well, that's because it's for my church, for this, for that. Sure. Okay. I just don't think that that's correct. I don't think that's the correct way of doing it. Doesn't matter. My opinion doesn't matter. It's just an opinion. But that is the thing that I think you have to be very careful about. And I keep talking about, because I did want to do it. I want to pursue it. I've always kind of felt like that, you hear terms like gray witches, not white, not black, but they're gray. I've always kind of considered myself that way, one foot on either side. And I still, there's something about seeing that, I hate to say it, intrigues me. It really does. It always has. It always will. And I know people are going to be listening like, don't ask for it. I'm not asking for it, but I'm just saying it always intrigued me. And that's something that, we can talk more about at a later date, because it's talking about demonology is very important, actually. It's super important. Maybe next time we do a Just Greg, let's just focus on that. Folks, we're already at the end of the show here. We're running out of time already. It went by fast. Folks, once again, just keep listening, keep supporting by putting comments in and just letting me know that you're listening. I really appreciate it. It makes me very happy when people are taking part and they're especially listening to the guests and stuff. And we're going to be talking more about the Rock Island Esoteric Expo. We're going to be talking about a number of things that are immediately coming up, and you can listen Friday talking about some of the cool things that are happening over the next 2 months. And just always, if you have any questions or you have any comments, let me know what you think of the show. Send me an email, comment at ghostboxradio.com. If you have any sort of constructive feedback, I'm always open to that as well. We're going to be back tomorrow. Craig Fraley, it's a replay talking about why he believes the moon landing was a hoax. And that's a fantastic episode. We'll see you live Friday with Casual Friday. Everyone, have a fantastic evening. Good night.